Hi everyone, welcome to Papa's Workshop. I'm back in the shop today on the CNC machine with the XCarve, and I took some PVC and I made this sign today. So I'm going to show you how I did it. So let's get started. Okay, this project was designed completely in easel. Here is the completed artwork that's ready to be able to carve. Now you'll notice on the left side on the design screen there's a thin black line. That is going to cut all the way through. And I'm not using the tabs because I'm going to use my glue and tape methods to be able to secure it. And the writing itself, the text for the word Shelley, and for the logo itself on the Comedy and Tragedy logo, that is going to be cutting at a shallower depth. That will be cut at a 0.06 inches. Now to be able to do this, there are several steps that must be followed. And let me go through those various steps and show you how I got to this point. And the first one that I want to show you is just two pieces of the artwork. The Comedy and Tragedy logos actually came from a very kind person on the Inventables forum. His name is Steve. So I want to give him credit for giving me this logo, which is perfect for what I want to be able to do. So again, thank you to Steve. So this artwork is just a single piece that I can move around and do anything that I want with it. The person that I'm doing this for, her name is Shelley. So the only thing I'm doing here is just selecting a text, and I just typed out her name. Now the text that I'm using, the font, is the Pacifico. I have it right there, and I just typed the name in. But what I want to be able to do is get it where I can actually cut the outline and have a border around it as you saw on the finished one. And to be able to do that, we have to use the Offsetter app. So I'm going to take Shelley, which is already highlighted, and I'm going to go up to the apps, and I'm going to scroll down to the Offsetter app and select that. And there it's showing with the distance on the offset at 0.25. And what I want to be able to do is change that. I want to change it to 0.5 of an inch. So there you go, that's what it's going to look like. So let's bring that back now. Let's import that into our design screen. And while it's all together, I'm going to go ahead and slide this out of the way. I do not need that any longer. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to highlight the logo. I'm going to go up to my Offsetter app again. And we're going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to change that to a 0.5. And there it is. So now I'm going to go ahead and bring that into now while I have everything highlighted, I'm going to move this out of the way for just a moment. And we're going to go ahead and take this logo and move it down out of the way because I no longer need it. The two pieces of the artwork that I want to work with are these two that I just did the Offsetter app on. So now I want to grab this one and let's bring it back over first because there's a couple of things that I want to do. And let's zoom in so you can see this better. There's some items that I really don't like that I don't want to be able to carve. And one of the things that I can do, I don't want that right there. So what I can do is actually go into, by highlighting that, it brings up the edit points. And now I can actually edit the points, or I can actually delete it. Now in this case, since I've highlighted it, now I've actually highlighted one of the points, I can hit delete and delete those different points individually, and they will disappear. Now that will no longer carve. The other thing that I can do, I can highlight that one for an example and just hit delete and it's gone. Same thing with this one. Highlight it and just delete it. And I do that until I get this logo exactly the way I want it. And for now, we'll leave it just like that. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and highlight this whole entire thing, position it where I want to put it, and then let's grab the word Shelley and let's slide this over in place and put it where we want it as well. And I think right about there would be good. Now with that in place, I'm going to go ahead now and highlight my entire work. And at this point, I'm going to come up to the edit and select combine. And what that has done now is created an outline of the entire project. So now what will happen, I can come down here and grab Shelley and bring it and put it right where she belongs. Right there, looks real good. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab the logo. And let's bring the logo up to where it needs to be. Now I'm going to scroll back up so that you can see everything. And I can put this in position now exactly where I want it. And that looks real good. Now while I have it, I want to verify the depth of cut. It is 0.06, so that didn't change. So now I have the outline set. I have the text where it will carve. But can I carve this all at one time? Not really, because there's some fine detail in here that we're going to need to be able to carve and use the two-stage carving. Because if I only carve this with an 1/8 inch bit, I'm going to lose some of the detail, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and have this second bit added for the 1/16 of an inch, and that picks up a lot of the small detail that I want to be able to have in there. Because if you go up here and I delete that bit, and now you see where it loses quite a bit of the detail. So let's go back and add that 1/16 of an inch bit back in. And now you can see where it's very crisp, very sharp. The other thing is, I want to be able to cut this out using not the 1/16 of an inch bit, because that's a very fine, small bit. I want to be able to use an 1/8 of an inch bit to be able to carve that. With everything set now, exactly the way that I want it, I want to go ahead and open up 2 additional work pieces. And this is the ones that we're actually going to be carving from. So I'll go back to this one, and we're going to highlight the entire project. We're going to hit Control C, and then we're going to move over to the next work piece and hit Control V. And we'll go to the last work piece and do the same thing, Control V. That pastes the exact image into both of those work pieces. Now, what we need to be able to do is delete the part that we don't want to carve. In this very last work piece, what I want to have happen is just to carve the outline itself, so it will release the project from the table. So I'm going to highlight the name and cut it, and I'm going to highlight the logo and cut that, and all I'm left with is what I want to carve. Nothing else has moved, so this will carve perfectly. And then I'll go to the previous work piece, and this time I want to delete the outline. So I will carve this first with the two-stage carving, and then I'll move over to the next work piece and cut the project out. And just to verify this, I want to be able to cut this all the way through to my 0.25. And the tabs that are shown here, I want to eliminate the tabs because I'm going to use the glue and tape method. To prepare the PVC board, I'm using the Rust-Oleum 2-Time Ultra Color. And this is the paint and primer, and I'm using the gloss black. And this is going to give a nice finish, and it will actually hold up quite well. Now I'm going to put 2 to 3 coats down and then let it dry good, and it'll be ready to carve. Now here's the setup that I'm using. I have a waste board, a sacrificial board down. It is clamped down, and then I have my actual PVC material with the tape and glue method secured to that. And this plywood is a 3/4 inch plywood, and it's just a scrap piece of wood that I'm using. The method that I'm using to hold down the PVC today is with the painter's tape and the CA glue. And the glue that I'm using is the Starbond glue, which is a fantastic glue for this. I'm going to put a link in the description so that you can purchase this and get a 10% off. So everything now is up and running and I'm carving. But one thing that I didn't realize, I actually grabbed the wrong bit. Yes, it's an 1/8 inch bit, but this is a downcut bit. Now at this point I could have just stopped the machine and changed it to an upcut, because anytime that you're cutting the PVC, you really should be using an upcut bit. After the roughing pass had completed, I went ahead and changed to the detail bit for the 1/16 of an inch and went ahead and ran the carve with the detail pass. Now after the detail pass had been completed, I actually decided to run the detail pass a second time, just to be able to clean it up a little bit better. And that did make a big difference. Now with the second detail pass completed, I came back and put the 1/8 inch upcut bit in to run that again. And you can see that it's making a tremendous difference. It's looking a whole lot better with the second roughing pass. Now then it's time to be able to cut this project out. I already had my upcut 1/8 inch bit in, so all I had to do was change work pieces and go ahead and set it up to do the carve on the outside. And this actually went very smooth, and I was very happy with it because I had actually planned exactly where my glue and tape was going to hold this piece, for an example, because that actually drops out. It's also worth noting that the default setting for this was 40 inches a minute for my rate of cut, and to me that was just too slow. So while this was carving, I changed it to run at 80 inches per minute, and it actually carved a lot cleaner and a lot smoother. So keep that in mind if you're cutting the PVC. With the project completed now, it's time to be able to just lift this off of my waste board. And I really like the tape and CA glue method of holding it down because it holds extremely well, but it actually is fairly easy to be able to remove. All it takes is just some gentle lifting to be able to release the tape. And actually, if you're lucky, you can grab the tape and actually pull. But this just lifts right off. So finally releasing that last little bit of tape, and the waste portion just lifts right off. I really love it. This is a great method to be able to hold down the projects onto the waste board. Now the actual project is really very easy to lift off with all of the waste material gone. Now here's a look at the completed project, and I think it turned out really great. In fact, I think it looks awesome. But what I'd like for you guys to do is tell me what you think. Is this the type of projects that you'd like to see more of? And also, a lot of folks look at my videos, in fact about 75%, and they're not subscribers. So if you'd like to see any type of projects that I'm not doing, please leave me a message down in the comments. And I appreciate all of you very much. Thank you. Hi everyone. Thank you for watching my video today. If you like the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below and the little bell next to it so you'll be notified on the different videos that I upload. Also, check out the videos over here to be able to stay up to date on the happenings in my shop. So again, thank you for watching my videos.